We begin this evening with the latest on Hurricane Melissa, which is now a Category 4 storm. The system is projected to be the strongest hurricane to make landfall in Jamaica in decades. Our in-house meteorologist, Romaine Robinson, now joins us live. Romaine, where is Hurricane Melissa now, and when can we expect to start feeling the impact?
Well, the system, Melissa, is still southwest of the island. We have it at about 185 kilometers southwest of Kingston, Jamaica. The system is still continuing to move further towards the west very slowly at about 7 kilometers per hour, and the speeds are now 230 kilometers per hour, which means it's a Category 4 system. There is some strengthening also that is expected to be occurring within the next 12 hours or so. We're going to be continuing to monitor the bulletins and monitor the information coming out of the oceanic and coming out of the National Hurricane Center.
All right, you mentioned 7 kilometers per hour.
That's the forward speed, yes.
What more can you tell us about the speed of the hurricane?
It's expected to maintain this speed over the next few hours. Now, it's expected to track further towards the north sometime in the very early morning on Monday, going into the early morning on Tuesday. It's expected to be making a more northward turn closer to the island, and it's expected to be passing over St. Elizabeth, currently based on the track, over St. Elizabeth sometime in the morning on Tuesday.
You mentioned north, you mentioned St. Elizabeth. Any other parishes?
All parishes are expected to be under the influence of the system. It's just that the eye or the center of the system is expected to be passing over St. Elizabeth and through Manchester and also Trelawney, expected to be under the influence of the eye of the system.
All right, let's go back to that 7 kilometers per hour that you mentioned earlier. That sounds rather slow.
It is very slow, which means we still have 2 days of continuing to be under the influence of the system, 2 days of watching. We're not expected to be in the clear until about Wednesday early in the morning.
Okay, yeah. And we will have much more details with Romaine later in the weather report and forecast, so stay with us here on Primetime News. Thank you, Romaine. Now, TVJ reporters have been deployed all across the island to monitor Melissa. We begin our team coverage in St. Elizabeth. It's a worrying scene for residents who are still trying to recover from the devastation caused by Hurricane Beryl in 2024. Here's Kalisha Williams.
So I'm now at Jake's Hotel in Treasure Beach in southern St. Elizabeth, and I'm with the owner, Jason Hensel. I know you've just recovered from Hurricane Beryl last year. It was quite devastating for you here in Treasure Beach. Talk to me about just what's going through your mind right now with Hurricane Melissa coming.
Boy, there's so much emotions racing around, you know, because the period of time between Ivan and Beryl was 20 years. So I said to myself, you know, maybe the good Lord will allow us even 10 years of break. But 16 months, I mean, it's a lot. But, you know, we have prepared, and we have the peace of mind to know that we have prepared, because we got a lot of warning, and the Jake's team, the Jake's family did a lot to batten down our property, service our generator, get diesel, get water, strap down our roofs.
Okay.
And the same has been done throughout the community, I can say. So it is fresh in everybody's mind, which is a good and bad thing, because the agencies seem much more prepared than they were before.
So I'm going to speak now with Rachel, and you're a visitor from?
London, UK.
From London, UK, and you're here in Treasure Beach. Is it your first time here?
It's not my first time. I've come quite a few times since 2020. I got stranded here in the pandemic.
In the pandemic? Yeah. I know you're here during a hurricane. How do you feel? Like, it seems quite unfortunate, really, but you do like Treasure Beach.
I love Treasure Beach.
When you heard that the hurricane could impact Jamaica, what's going through your mind? Because many people say, okay, I need to get on the first flight out of here. You know, why did you decide to stay?
I just feel bad for the people here, and I guess we only knew a few days ago, and I knew that I don't want to be anywhere else in Jamaica. Actually, I want to be with the people I know, and you know, maybe I can be useful.
Right now, I'm in Great Bay, St. Elizabeth. It's actually one of those communities that was badly impacted by Hurricane Beryl in 2024, and now Hurricane Melissa is a few hours away. And as you can see, things are getting pretty intense here. The sea is furious. The water is swelling closer and closer. It's moving on onto the shoreline here in Great Bay, and within a few hours or so, things could significantly change, because I was told, yes, we were not getting any rain right now. The wind is not as strong, but I was told the center of the storm could pass close to some of these communities here in St. Elizabeth. So it could be a double blow for people who have been recovering and some who are still yet to recover from Hurricane Beryl. I've been speaking to fishers. I went further along in the community. I've been talking to farmers, and they're really hoping that the damage will be minimal, but based on what I'm hearing, it's going to be an intense storm. So we are here and we're watching, we're waiting, and we're seeing, because things could change. As you can see right now, the water is coming in quickly as we speak. So that was actually a bit frightening, but we'll be here throughout this hurricane. Melissa is still days away, yet to make landfall, and we'll be here providing coverage for TVJ News. Reporting from Great Bay in St. Elizabeth, I'm Kalisha Williams for TVJ News. It's back to you in studio.
Thank you, Kalisha. And in Manchester, 6 high-risk communities have been highlighted for potential flooding. Ramarda Lyons reports.
An eerie stillness covered Mandeville, Manchester Sunday morning. The only movement of note, the storm clouds drifting between 5 and 7 a.m. As the day progressed, not much rainfall, and several residents took that opportunity to continue work around their homes. On this property, everything is being done to ensure physical safety, but there's also a focus on what's to come after the system. That focus is called food security.
Yes, them say storm a come, but we not go nowhere. All right, now me have 36 bully beef and 1 bag of rice put on, so me not go nowhere, so me a prepare.
A lot of the preparation is because of the Beryl experience last year.
Whole heap of mash up, man, and whole heap of water and sit, man, you see me? Whole heap of tree drop down in a place and sit. Remember Beryl, because we never have light for about 3 weeks, you see me? So we don't want this as time still, but we have to prepare for it. Because we don't know if it will come, we can't know about it, you understand? I say, you see me? So, see me and my G there, we just go and fix things, you see me? That is it.
And so the work continues. In another community, many residents are still in preparation mode, and for this family of 5, it's all hands on deck with a little creativity. This is a window created with tarpaulin, tape, and clear plastic. It's a story about being sheltered with a desire to know what's happening on the outside.
Now strap down, because we know a lot of wind and rain will come, and to avoid the water from going inside, as you can see, we do a nice strap down at the tarpaulin, apply. To avoid the air, we use the rope and strap him so the breeze not have that impact as to what go on here. So you understand? So we just do some final work, as you can see, and get it ready and prepare yourself. And I hope the rest of Jamaica do the same thing. Don't wait till last minute, alright? Blessings.
In the meantime, it's like a board game atop the house, with blocks positioned like chess pieces. Other properties tell the same story of precaution. Zinc and board cover windows, some with metallic shield, even a car wrapped in protective gear. At this house, though, awnings were lowered, but worry remains high. A call from her son overseas really put things into perspective regarding the dangers of Hurricane Melissa.
He was saying that the report that they hear on the news over there, that if this hurricane hit Jamaica, it's gonna be very, very dangerous. A lot of people is gonna die, and you know, probably we're going in for like a month or so we can't come out. No internet, no whatever. So him just send me some money and say, Mom, you need to go to the supermarket if you can, get some food and whatever, and just prepare. You know? That's it.
Still, she's hopeful.
Because I'm a believer of God and my faith in God and everything. I say, brother, anything. That's it.
For this elder, it's isolation, something officials caution against during systems like Melissa. But his isolation is not by choice. His son died a month ago, and now it's just him and his dogs.
Tom come in now and see me lose my son, and now come like you put one man against the world, and now me alone just standing up and something now. I feel just hope and pray for the best. But if he there run in case anything, I could have run this and run this, but now I just me alone, and now so me have to just hold it and then think and just give God thanks for what God doing now.
He says he's done all he can to protect his property. He spent hours nailing down zinc on his roof.
Just go up on the roof, go knock down some nail where push up And around the back now, we just put 2 block. One part of a zinc was split. We just put 2 block there. And then walk on it. The zinc can't stay in the nail. When we walk, we just see some nail pushing up. So we just use the hammer and just knock them back down. Knock them back down, that means if any breeze cannot pass underneath them, you know.
Ramarda Lyons, TVJ News.
From the resort town of Ocho Rios to the busy streets of Brownstown in St. Anne, residents are leaving nothing to chance as Hurricane Melissa barrels toward Jamaica. Sandy Williams is in the parish and filed this report.
Secure rafts, checked. Secure fish pots, checked. Secure stalls and lock-up shops, checked. Across Ocho Rios, the checklist is complete. Residents know what's coming, and they're not waiting to find out just how bad it could get. Hurricane Melissa, now packing winds of over 130 miles per hour, is threatening to unleash widespread destruction, and along the coast, preparations have turned into a matter of survival. At White River, where rafting is usually the heartbeat of daily life, the mood is different. Rafters and small business operators have packed up operations, some turning to food and drink as they wait out the calm before the storm. But beneath the laughter is deep concern.
We're going to lose a lot of things as count to the weather. Because we don't know whether it will come strong. It will look we down.
But you know, take out the fish pot, them and
some, not all.
So explain what your project would happen.
Why?
What kind of damage you're doing? Yes.
Why we feel so we are good. All life is part of what they are seeing because we have around 25. And we know that some of them are going to go 10 we carrying.
Okay.
So
why you want to carry 10 though?
Because we can't get to them. So if we can't get to the balance, we have to just stay put.
A few miles inland in Brownstown, the storm's threat is just as real. Windows on the town's main mall are boarded and sealed. Gas pumps wrapped tightly in plastic, a sure sign that everyone is bracing for the blow. Only a handful of motorists and vendors remain, hoping to make those last-minute sales before Melissa makes her move.
The Ocho Rios market is usually bustling with activities on Sundays as residents and visitors would come to purchase items for their usual Sunday dinners. But today, the facility resembles a ghost town. With almost all the shops and stores closed, the vendors are already feeling the economic impact of Hurricane Melissa, which is expected to make landfall between Monday night and Tuesday morning. Now, there are still some vendors on the outside still hoping to get last-minute sales.
Well, I'm here trying to secure my goods and catch last-minute shopper in the same time. I'm just grabbing a few items I think I have short. I'm short of, so that's basically it.
Further out in the town, almost all businesses have closed. Their windows are shuttered and battened down with boards and other protective material. As I said earlier, Hurricane Melissa is projected to make landfall as early as Monday night, and it is expected to bring very heavy rainfall, large waves, and a dangerous storm surge, especially along the south coast, effects that could very well hit this parish of St. Anne very hard. Now, the authorities have been urging residents of low-lying and flood-prone areas to make their way to shelters now. Reporting from Ocho Rios in St. Anne, I'm Sandy Williams for TVJ News.
Over in Portland, the authorities moved in quickly to clear a landslide in Burnham Wood, West Portland, which led to the roadway impassable for hours. Anthony Lugg visited several communities in the parish where some residents living in flood-prone areas continue to disregard the instruction from the authorities to evacuate.
For most of the day here in Portland, it rained. There was also a lot of wind. But based on the current projections of Hurricane Melissa, the worst is yet to come. I'm currently in West Portland, a community by the name of Burnham Wood to be specific. And on my way here, there was a lot of downed trees, boulders, along with other debris along the roadway. Now to the right of me is this roadway where we're being told that there was a landslide. Now, the landslide has since been cleared, but we've been in dialogue with the authorities and they're telling us that this is the 7th time within 3 weeks that they've had to clear this landslide. Now, the residents we've been speaking with are also concerned because earlier today, the roadway was impassable. But earlier today, I was also in East Portland, and I've been speaking with some residents in some of the most vulnerable communities. One of those communities is Manchonil.
We pack up the window them and thing, pack up the clothes them, and if anything, we just grab a little bag and shoot off. Yeah,
you're not scared about your safety, you're not worried about your safety.
Well, I'm scared in a little way, and in a little way I'm not scared neither, because the first hurricane me have meet. But them said I want a kind of rough still, so it kind of dip on my mind.
The government them tell we those people from low line and flood prone area need to evacuate. You're still there. Why are you still there?
But the government the response to it. I hear many I say the government never give me that. That's simple that could compel me to move right now. You have to move up on my building. You hear that?
How you know when it's time to move though?
Well, you hear me? We are watching tree there, man. We have some tree. Once we see them leave turnover, most of the time we move around there. Okay.
When me hear the first raka, me say in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, not another raka. I'm just grab my suitcase and say, out of Manchonil School.
Now, despite Melissa being upgraded to a Category 4 hurricane, the mood here at the Manchonil Primary School is one of hope. Families are here cooking, scrolling their phones, playing games, and just about anything to pass time. However, with the hurricane expected to make landfall in a matter of 24 to 36 hours, some people we spoke with say they're still hopeful, but they're worried.
It no matter your concrete what you want to have. You understand? Long as you live a low line and you don't know, say there is a storm coming our way, sort out and move to the best shelter.
So now all eyes are on Hurricane Melissa, which continues to move closer to Jamaica. Reporting from Port Antonio, Portland, I'm Anthony Lugg for TVJ News.
Thank you, Anthony. And the tree the gentleman was referring to is what some Portlanders called the trumpet tree, and they're waiting for the leaves to turn to see if the storm is coming. Now, in the corporate area, the National Arena has been activated as one of the main emergency shelters as Hurricane Melissa approaches. Now, our reporter Carrie-Ann Simpson is on location, and we're now joining her live. Carrie-Ann, what's happening at the National Arena?
Thank you, Andrea. I'm coming to you live from the National Arena here in St. Andrew. It's the largest designated emergency shelter in the island. But despite the ongoing threat of Hurricane Melissa, the number here this evening is very low. To note, the government has been urging residents, especially those in low-lying and flood-prone areas, to seek higher ground. I am speaking to acting shelter manager here, Ms. Helen Ann Wilkinson. Good evening and welcome to Primetime News. Talk to me about the number of persons currently here at the shelter and what is the capacity.
We have a good capacity. We have support from ODPEM. We have enough beds. We have cots. We have food. We have enough water. And we've been getting donations from both public and private sector. People have been just flooding. The support is overwhelming. We've been doing all we can to reassure persons. It's been a long wait and it's taking a toll, but life is more important than the body, so we have to secure our lives. And Red Cross is a very credible institution worldwide. It's there to save lives, and we're there to support this work, and we ask people to take the plunge and come in. If you have to stay at home, make sure you do have the supplies, but the shelters are active and open and welcoming to you.
All right, talk to me about how prepared the facility is to accommodate more people if things worsen.
Well, we have this complete support of InSport. We have ODPEM. We also have, as I said, enough beds and cots, and we have the military. We have the police force nearby to assist us, and they have been helping to bring in clients to us here at the arena.
All right, Ms. Wilkinson, walk us through what will happen when persons come in.
Well, when you come into the shelter, we go through a quick period of triaging you, which is asking you what are your needs. Do you have any health needs? Do you have any extenuating circumstances? Is your house destroyed where you are? So that when you're leaving the shelter, we are hoping that we can get all the support from the Ministry of Labour, National Security, and so on, to assist all these persons that when they go back, they're going to be rehabilitated and given all the support to make new life in all the broken pieces.
All right, and what's in place right now to ensure safety and even food? Talk to me about that.
Well, the Red Cross is supplied by donations from across the private sector firms, and as I said, people are still pouring in. Actually, coming here today, one client came in with food ready, cooked meals for both the people who are working, they're all volunteers. People are volunteer, you know, Red Cross is a voluntary institution. So people are not paid to do this. They're just coming out of being trained. We have extensive shelter manager training this year. So we were on the ground to do this. And Red Cross has been doing this well for decades now.
Okay, what are some items that persons, if they decide to come in, what should they take with them?
Well, we always ask people to bring their basic items. You know, if you like your little special chips, your special water, whatever, bring that. We do have the basics here to supply. Red Cross International is supplying Red Cross units across the island with special hygiene kits and also kits for cleaning. So when you leave, you can take that with you to do your cleaning of your house, you know, shoveling out that mud. But we're going to get on and recover.
All right, there are thousands of Jamaicans that are watching now. Persons are still hesitant. What would you like to say to those persons?
As I said before, and as the Bible says, life is more important than the body. So we have to always prioritize what's safest for us. If you know where you are living, you know the dangers, then you need to head for safe shelter.
All right, thank you so much for speaking with us, Ms. Wilkinson. You heard it for yourself. The space is here. All amenities are in place. Melissa is a Category 4 hurricane, and so we're urging persons, especially those in low-lying and flood-prone areas, to seek higher ground or the nearest shelter. Reporting live from the National Arena, I'm Carrie-Ann Simpson for TVJ News. It's back to you in studio.
Thank you, Carrie-Ann. And we now go to St. Thomas. Now, Jamila Maitland visited Paul Bogle High, where a 2-month-old is among dozens of people seeking shelter at the school.
Now, I'm at the Paul Bogle High School in St. Thomas, which is listed as one of the national emergency shelters by ODPEM. Now, at about 1:30 p.m., shelter manager Marcia Dixon told us that there are about 52 people here and counting. Even while doing this presentation, now we notice carloads of people making their way into the shelter. Now, she told us that the age ranges from as young as 2-month-old to about 75 years old. And she explained to us that majority of the people here are from neighboring communities, especially the Cottage Pen district, which is across the road from the Paul Bogle High School. It's particularly prone to flooding because of the Johnson River.
We have 20 children, 8 male and 13 female. We have some infants as well, 1 10 months old, 2 7 months old, and 1 2-month-old. We also have an elderly woman, she's 62, and she's bedridden. We have a mental ill man as well.
The shelter manager is encouraging those seeking refuge here to take along their personal items, such as bedding and food supplies, which is in a limited number here. Now, we also spoke to an assistant shelter manager who, interestingly, is a student here at the Paul Bogle High School. What do you know about assistant shelter manager?
Wow, I believe this leadership is, well, it's something that has been aspiring in me. You know, it's just a fire within, you know, for youth development and for overall community development.
What do your parents say? Do you live with mom and dad? Or
yes, I do.
What do they say when they're at home, if they are, and you're out here, like, helping others?
Right. Well, I must admit, they are quite worried, yes, but they believe in the movement, or should I say the ability to help others where possible, especially in such a crisis as this. I can tell you that they're calling every 30 minutes to check up, but it's really an opportunity, and I encourage anybody out there, if you are able to assist, please do so. It may not be here at the shelter, it may be in your communities, at your houses, or delivering a hot or warm meal to somebody in need. Assist anywhere possible.
Reporting from the Paul Bogle High School in St. Thomas, I'm Jamila Maitland for TVJ News.
Some residents have refused to evacuate high-risk areas of Clarendon. Some residents say they can't leave as they are worried their belongings will be stolen. Our reporter Duhaney Anderson picks up that story.
Past experiences have taught these residents of Portland Cottage that their homes and by extension community do not fare well during hurricanes. So from Saturday, many of them filed into the Portland Cottage Primary School and have taken up their positions. Some, like these babies, lay on beds. The adults sit outside, eyes on Melissa, waiting for her likely brutal onslaught.
From the last storm, nothing with house not ready. It tap no complete and something, so we know say pure water will come in for we. So before the rain start, we try to come to shelter. Make sure we present our shelter. You can save yourself because we say that time I go terrible.
This is my first time at the shelter. And as based on I see, this hurricane looks like it's very serious. I think it's a category 4, category 5. So we are also trying to let persons know that they can come in shortly, as soon as they can. Don't wait until everything and then they rush.
But while those 50 people have settled in at the shelter, others are not budging from their homes in Portland Cottage.
We have buses going around in the community trying to evacuate people up to the Beryl Technical High School on a larger scale. However, we face a challenge. The residents do not want to leave their houses. They don't want to leave their homes, even though we are explaining to them the challenge that they will be facing, right? The storm surge that will be coming into this community on the lower sections. They say they're just not moving, they're not leaving their house because they are afraid of looters vandalizing their properties.
Nearby in the Rocky Point community, some residents want to evacuate, but
I can't manage the center shelter because when I'm pregnant, they sent me to go vomit. I can't manage certain things. Soon a baby, I can't baby all anytime, I'll know anytime soon.
But you shouldn't be here then.
It shouldn't be here. Then what I go do? I not go to the shelter.
this is the source of their concern, the Caribbean Sea, seen here kissing their boats. Right now, the sea is very calm, perhaps trying to lure unsuspecting persons to stick around and test the near 12 feet waves that it could mount in another 24 hours.
You see now, people gone now and not see because people say no, you see you come over.
So I'm scared you know?
Yes, because people gonna, most of the people they gonna ears.
While in the area, we watched as some worried residents boarded multiple Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC buses. Their destination, inland to higher ground in Clarendon, like here at the Veer Technical High School.
40 adults on my bus that leave from Rocky Point and 9 children, so that will be 50 persons, right?
Duhaney Anderson, TVJ News.
Locked out. Sheffield residents who sought to be proactive ahead of Hurricane Melissa by storming to the shelter at Sheffield Primary in Westmoreland were left disappointed after learning it was closed. Kimberly Peddy explains.
Residents who sought refuge at the Sheffield Primary School in Westmoreland earlier today were greeted with a padlocked gate. To their dismay, they were told that the shelter will not be opened until 6:30 p.m. This distraught resident was outside the school from as early as 12 noon.
We need the school to open. We can't wait for last minute. We have bag with food, we have clothes, we have water, we have about 7 picnic behind and we go up there, the school not open it. What we go do? Run at the hurricane to go up there when zinc and everything they fly. We need the school to open, the road don't flood out, people can't go past the water to go up at the school. And the school say at 6 o'clock they were open, so we don't know. 6:30. We can't pass 6:30. And this thing is serious. When they come in and Jamaica left, you're done. What we don't do? Eh?
As it is now, you want to get in.
Yeah, we need to go into the school.
Yeah,
we don't have. What we don't want in the rain and breeze when the fire for me one house, so me done. What we gonna do? We can't wait for the last minute. We need to go up there.
We captured this resident marching to the shelter with her suitcase and blanket. Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for Westmoreland Western Ian Hales made this appeal.
To every facility that is deemed a shelter by government or private shelters in terms of the churches, I'm going to ask them to open up the facilities now. Let's not wait on the hurricane to open up facilities for our citizens to get in. Let them go in before and pick the space that they want.
He was firm in his stance, as he said he got calls from residents complaining about the issue.
For all of the pretty schools, I beg you to open them. The schools belong to the government of Jamaica, and I'm asking you to open these facilities now. Get the caretaker here, right across the constituency, and make we open these schools so that citizens can have access to them, and we can put the necessary logistics in place in terms of food, water for our citizens. Make we do this now. Open your facilities now.
As it relates to the shelter being closed,
it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. But let good sense prevail. Let's open all of these facilities now. It is now 12:30. Let's open all of these facilities. The rains are started to fall. The wind that's picked up. Let's open all of these facilities now so that the powers that be can come in. We can put in the necessary things in place for our citizens.
Kimberly Petty for TVJ News.
You will be held responsible. The message this evening to developers who leave cranes and other construction equipment in place during Hurricane Melissa. The issue was again raised at Sunday's press briefing. Sunday afternoon, close to the intersection of Shortwood Road and Constant Spring Road in St. Andrew, construction equipment left hanging even as the threat of Hurricane Melissa intensifies.
I want to advise those persons that they will be held responsible for any damage, loss of life, that those cranes and construction material might contribute to.
Local Government Minister Desmond Mackenzie again appealed to those responsible to remove the equipment. But that's not the only struggle the government is having. Some persons are still refusing to evacuate.
So we sent a bus all the way to Flaggerman in St. Elizabeth. No response. Old Harbour Bay, yesterday, only 10 persons boarded the bus. Port Royal and Raytown today, same response. So we have deployed our resources and are awaiting boarding.
Many of these communities will not survive this flooding. Rocky Point in Clarendon, Portland Cottage, Bamboo River in St. Thomas, New Haven, Riverton City, Taylorlands. I can go on and name these communities know themselves. They know the difficulties. And with a Category 4 hurricane, with the possibility of raising to a Category 5, there is nothing more we can do as a government but to beg and beseech persons to heed the warning. And if it will help, I will go on my knees.
And so the usual appeal to those living in flood-prone areas: seek higher ground. Meanwhile, Water Minister Matthew Samuda says the National Water Commission has joined forces with the Jamaica Public Service to ensure water supply is restored after the hurricane. To prevent theft, over 50 generators will be dispatched after the storm.
This will restore close to 80% of our customer base within 72 hours of the all clear and turbidity settling. We can't say definitively where turbidity will be a particular challenge and how much of a challenge it will be, but we expect to get to 80% of our customers with sporadic supply after 72 hours.
And in Port Royal, residents are adamant they are not leaving their properties behind. Their response comes amidst appeal for them to evacuate. Here's Nakinski Robinson.
For centuries, this small seaside town has been shaped and shaken by the sea. From hurricanes to high tides, Port Royal's people have a history of holding their ground, and with Hurricane Melissa, it's no different.
The tide is rising, the wind speed is picking up, and the clouds are rolling in. However, several residents in Port Royal remain unfazed.
Carlos Butler, who has lived in Port Royal for over 18 years, says his property will not be left at the mercy of vandals.
No, because I don't know nobody who broke my house, take out my stuff, them just come from Miami right here. And when we leave here, people always come from outside and take with things them and hold on for our place.
During the storm?
Storm, yeah. So I prefer stay here and monitor the place.
There's no way we think we're gonna lose. If the water gets rough, we go in the boat. As it keeps getting higher, we getting higher too with the boat. Nothing should take us out there. We don't intend to leave, rather die inside here.
And we can swim just as well, so guess what? Stay. When I come swim in it, you know. Because you have all kind of crap in the water during them time. Floating stuff will hit you and stuff like that. But we know what to do.
Emergency officials warn stubbornness can turn deadly. The residents tell TVJ News that reports of sexual assault acts as motivations to stay at home despite evacuation orders. Port Royal sits just above sea level, and even moderate surges could cut off access to the main road and critical facilities.
Further east in Bull Bay, residents are concerned about the Chalky River, especially in light of all the rain that Melissa intends to dump.
Residents remember all too well when floodwaters carved through homes and cut off entire communities. Some work has been carried out on the Chalky River, but the concern is how long it will hold if Melissa remains pedestrian.
From my experience from Gilbert, I'm not taking anything lightly because I know that it can be devastating. Because I see a lot of people get flooded out, roof torn off, so I'm kind of not really scared, but I'm taking it seriously.
Because residents were complaining that they're not satisfied with the level of work in terms of that they did some clearing, but it's not wide enough, they think, to let the water pass if we should get a large deposit of water.
And here in Harbour View, the gateway to Kingston, this area often takes the brunt of incoming systems. Despite being slowly quarantined by the weather system, some residents say they are prepared to brave the weather in the comfort of their homes.
Melissa may be moving slowly, but her presence is being felt, lingering just enough to keep residents on edge and emergency teams on alert. For TVJ News, I'm Nakinski Robinson.
Meanwhile, residents of Duhaney Park in St. Andrew are worried about a nearby river triggering flooding in their area. More from Antonia Atkinson.
Standing right behind me is this house, but meters away we can see the New Haven Duhaney River. Now this river, usually around hurricane time, it floods. Now residents have already left the community, but we have one resident saying that there's a major gully down below that might flood out the community.
We have a main ship bridge rebuilt right here in last month during the election time and everything, but right now the gully has been blocked. I take out the water out of the community. As you can see, the water stand up right here because this gully is too complete, so it needs to be clean that the water can come out. They do some work yesterday by over 6 million. We appreciate and thankful for that. What they do yesterday, yeah, we're grateful for that. But this is the main gully right now. We'll give you a big problem right now. See it here? And Mr. Williams come look at it Wednesday, and I don't see nothing going on for it right now. As you can see, go down straight into the river.
Some yards were completely covered in water, forcing residents to start preparing for the worst. The river, which runs into a pig pen, is also of major concern. As the heavy rains continue, many fear the situation could worsen overnight. But not everyone is letting the weather dampen their spirits. On the other side of the community, some residents were seen making the best of the situation, even finding time for a little fun despite the rising waters.
My rain ball we are playing, you keep the youth them active and happy, yes. Where's she name, Melissa? Melissa, all right, man. Melissa there we do, man. Melissa there on the field and play with as the ref. You see what I say? Yeah.
So how long have you been living here? Have you ever been flooded out?
Yeah, whole heap of time still, you know,
and
but...
you're still here?
Yeah, because remember we are Jamaican, you know, we don't take things serious till it gets serious.
And with Hurricane Melissa still on approach, emergency officials are urging residents in low-lying areas, including those near the Duhaney River, to stay alert and be ready to evacuate if conditions worsen. Antonia Atkinson, TVJ News.
Experts are urging parents and guardians to pay close attention to their children during this period. The warning comes amidst worry that some children may not know how to cope with the anxiety and stress that comes with these natural disasters. Shamela Pullen reports.
TVJ News spoke with several children who shared their thoughts and feelings about the approaching storm. Some children admitted to feeling scared, expressing concerns about the powerful hurricane.
I know that it's going to be very bad, and there will be lightning and thunder and lightning. The hurricane is very strong, and that it has strong wind, and it's going to rain very hard, but our house is made out of bricks, so it can't dash down our house.
I'm concerned about the hurricane because it might affect the houses. Me going to school, I'm worried about what might happen to the school and the road and the people. I won't be able to go to school or see my friends.
I'll see lightning, and that makes me very scared, and it might struck one place and there might be a fire, and when it comes then the light will go out and we have nothing to charge.
I'm not sure what will happen to Jamaica and what the recovery time will be.
I'm happy about school, with no school, and I'm scared of thunder and lightning.
I'm wondering how strong the storm is going to be and how it will impact the island.
Others, however, seemed unfazed and even excited about the prospect of being out of school.
I don't have to go to school, first of all, and I get to stay home and I get to wrap up in this warm blanket that I have on right now.
I feel a little scared. I'm also not worried because I know that God will protect me.
Consultant psychiatrist Dr. Sophia Longmore says it is natural for children to experience anxiety as the hurricane nears.
Now is a good time for you as a parent to perhaps tap into their social media spaces, and we also have to parent there too. So now might be a time for you to play some of the games that they play and also engage and see what it is that they're really up to. You have some time on your hands. Good way to spend it. But also go back to the basics, go back to the board games, go back to reading books.
Dr. Longmore is encouraging parents to remain calm, observant and supportive.
You might want to look out for certain things that might be telltale that something might be going off. You might see changes in their vegetative symptoms. They may be eating, their appetite might be changing. They may be sleeping erratically or out of their pattern. They may become excessively clingy, or they may become distant. They may have weird aches or pains. You may still notice that their behavior might be a little bit way off, especially if the physical energy is not being expelled.
Shamela Pullen, TVJ News.
In this week's edition of the Business Review, we look at how last-minute shoppers go about getting supplies for Hurricane Melissa. Here's Alia Brandt.
Sell out! Don't make Melissa catch your tongue!
As Hurricane Melissa inches closer to Jamaica, the usual payday crowds descended into storm prep chaos. Residents scrambled through the Coronation Market, hoping to secure enough ground provisions before the storm hits.
We need to stock up. That's why we have to go out that zinc, lick off our flood, our thing, blow down things. You understand? We need to just do the right things. That's to stay in the hurricane.
But despite the spike in sales, vendors at the market are fearful that should the hurricane destroy farms, already costly produce will hurt their profits.
It would be a great loss. All food gone provision will be lost. The price and goods will be soared to a high level. And I don't think people would afford it right now, afford to buy the food product. And what would happen right now, the imports goods.
Meanwhile, hardware stores were swarmed on Friday as residents rushed to secure supplies to fortify their homes. TVJ News caught up with Jodian from Incomparable Enterprise to see what residents picked up.
We have a lot of councillors and MPs who came out to really get stuff for their constituencies. So we had to try and get those out as soon as possible. But we have our regular walk-in customers that come in and order the regular stuff that they need. The roof component, as I said, the flash band, going like crazy, the tarpaulins, and the siliconizers and stuff like that.
Aliyah Bryant, TVJ News.
In news overseas, U.S. President Donald Trump says he is adding a 10% tariff on goods imported from Canada after the province of Ontario aired an anti-tariff advertisement featuring Ronald Reagan. Calling the advert a fraud, the U.S. president lashed out at Canadian officials for not removing the ad ahead of the World Series Baseball Championship. In response, the Prime Minister Mark Carney said Canada was ready to build on the progress made in trade talks, but added that it was developing trade relationships with other countries. Canada is the only G7 country to not reach a deal with the United States since Trump began seeking to impose tariffs on goods from major trading partners.